What's up, YouTube? What's up, Clinaytion? It's your girl Leah Clinay, back with another video. Lately I feel like I've just been kind of like struggling with feeling like I have to wait until the right time, or wait until the perfect time, the perfect moment. I'll wait until I'm, into my better habits again, or I'll wait until I'm doing better in life, or I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I've been struggling with that for like the past few months, and one thing that I love, and I've always loved and I always will love, is putting my voice out there, creating my art, however that looks, whether it's a YouTube video, whether it's a podcast, whether it's my business, whatever it is, any type of creative aspect about myself. I find joy in that, and creativity, and expressing myself. Energy, anything that's living, anything that's alive and has energy to it, never dies. So all of that energy that I have inside of me, that creative energy that I have inside of me, or that gift that's inside of me that God has blessed me with, I get frustrated and I get in a funk if I'm not able to express that. And I have these moments where I feel lost, or I feel like I gotta come back to me, I gotta find myself again. But I'm not really lost, it's just because all of that energy that I have, I'm not putting it into something. So because that energy never dies, it's going into other things that probably aren't good for me. Maybe too much consuming, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, whether it's drinking, smoking, partying, hanging out. Not that those things are completely bad, because we're human. We're going to want to socialize, we're going to want to go out, we're going to want to sit down and scroll sometimes, but too much of anything is never good, so it's always healthy to have a balance. So I feel like because that energy is inside of me that I need to get out, I'm putting it into other stuff more often than I should that isn't good for me, versus putting it into the things that I know help me. I know it helps express myself in the way that I want to, in the way that I need to, in the way that others need. Because at the end of the day, we all have a gift for a reason. We all have a gift, to be able to express for our own selves, but also because other people need to see it, other people need to hear it. So I have this bad habit of going months or weeks, however long, and then I get just so frustrated because I'm like, I'm not in a space that I want to be, I'm not doing what I want to do, and then I feel like I'm not worthy enough to put it out because I haven't been doing it. Or what's the point of sitting down and making that video and using my voice if I know that I'm not doing completely right in my life? It just feels like if things aren't going right or things aren't perfect, I don't feel deserving to speak to people and to give advice. But I'm starting to understand. Let me cut this fan off. I'm starting to understand, or try to understand, that life is always gonna life, baby. The human in us is always gonna human. You feel me? The flaws are always gonna keep flawing. They're there for a reason. That's how we're wired. We're not wired to be perfect. We're not wired to always be right. But because we have these flaws, and because we have these moments where life just be lifing, or we mess up, that's a part of the human experience. That's a part of life. That's a part of growing. So life is always going to life. We're always going to be human. But it's just about finding moments within that journey to express yourself and to put what God has put inside of you out there for others to see or hear. I'm not going to say there's no point of living, but it's going to be a more miserable life the more you hold that back, and the more you only focus on what are people going to think, how many people are going to listen, how many people are going to see it, how many people are going to like it, how many people are going to comment. If you only focus on that, you're never going to put yourself out there the way you should. You're never going to express yourself the way you should. And just forget social media. Just simply waking up every day and feeling your best by putting on your favorite t-shirt or your favorite jewelry or whatever. If you think, I wonder how other people are going to think this look, and then you put something else on because you're scared to express yourself, that's a miserable way to live. You feel me? So I'm trying to find a balance of, no matter like where I'm at in life, whether it's good, bad, you know, an up season, a down season, to keep expressing myself, because life is going to keep lifing. There's going to keep being ups and downs. There's going to keep being bad days. There's going to keep being, you know, heartbreaks. There's all these things that I use as an excuse oftentimes to not do what I'm meant to do, or not do what makes me happy because I'm in a little rut. Those things are going to keep happening. So am I going to just let that throw me off my course every time, and years down the road I'm not happy with my life, I'm not happy with myself, because I've let everything around me affect me? Because everything around you is going to be there. I mean, yes, we have the option to cut things off. We have the option to let things go. We have the option to say no and distance ourselves. But we also know that we're human. So we also know there's going to be times that we might not do that right away. We might not have the mental strength to do that right away as maybe we should. That don't mean you stop doing what you're supposed to be doing just because certain things or situations around you are weighing you down a little bit or affecting you. You have the option to not let it affect you. You have the option to still get up and be like, all right, this person gonna be them. This situation is what it is. I'm still gonna do me. I'm still gonna get up and do what I was born to do. Do what was put inside of me for a reason. Because if it's inside of you, it's for a reason. It's there. If you have a vision for something and you're authentic in it, you know that it's you. You know, it's not coming from, you know, copying someone else or looking at somebody else's life. It's you. It's there for a reason, and you have to make the decision to act on it, because if not, it'll forever be a vision. You won't see the fruits of that vision if you don't act on it, if you don't plant it, if you don't water it, if you don't, you know, if you don't tend to it. Like recently on my front porch, my mom came over and helped me put some little like flowers on the side of my front porch rails, because I had been wanting some. I really want a garden eventually, but I'm like, let me, you know, start out baby steps. And we planted them, you know, they look beautiful. She's like, all right, don't forget these outside flowers, so make sure you water them every day. So there were times where like I would forget to water them and they kind of started to die. So I was like, all right, let me make sure I get back. I was like irritated because I'm like, all right, well, they about to die, I might as well just let them die, forget it, you know. But I was like, no, you know what, I'm gonna keep watering them, bring them back to life. And they finally came back to life. And then I had went on a trip and I forgot to kind of like remind someone to come and like water them for me. So when I came back, they were kind of dead. And since then I've been like watering them, but I feel like part of me is kind of like, what's the point? Or either that time before when they died the first time or were about to die, and I, you know, learned my lesson, quote unquote, and started back watering them, and they came back. It's like, you know, you feel good when they came back to life. But another time came where I didn't water them for a point in time, and guess what they did again? They died. So that's what mental decisions, mental strength, like working on your spiritual, your physical, your mental, all of that. That's a perfect example as far as you have to continue to put in the work. When you don't, it's going to die. When you don't, it's going to be at a standstill. But that don't mean you can't never get back to it. You know, that don't mean you can't never go out there and dig up those old dead flowers and plant some new ones. That don't mean you can't get out there and water them to bring them back to life. You can always start back. You can always start over anytime, any day. But any point that you decide to stop is going to be at a standstill. It's going to not grow. It's a constant thing. It's not like, and I was having this conversation with somebody the other day about healing. It's a constant thing. It's not just one day, one time, and you're done. Like, that's not how that works. You have to, it doesn't mean like you have to tire yourself out to work every day on yourself, or try to be better, try to do this, try to do that. But you have to like find that balance of continuously growing, continuously pouring into yourself, pouring into your goals, pouring into your gift, pouring into your passions. Because if you don't do it, nobody else is going to do it. And you can't be mad at your boyfriend. You can't be mad at your friends. You can't be mad at your parents. You can't be mad at your environment. You can't be mad at your circumstances, baby. You can't be mad at none of that. Because at the end of the day, when you wake up in the morning and when you lay your head down at night, you are in control over what you do with what you have. And from that point forward, if you're not happy with yourself, if you're not happy with what's going on, it ain't nobody else's fault. whatever's around you that you don't like, you could choose whether you let that affect you or not. You could choose whether you walk away from it. You could choose whether you let it consume you. I'm telling y'all that, and I'm telling myself that because it's been months since I put anything out. I've kind of struggled since my podcast a little bit because, you know, that's kind of at a standstill and trying to figure out where to move forward with it. And I've been telling myself, like, all right, what do I do next? What do I do next? I need to do this. I need to do that. What does Leah want to do? What does Leahclinay want to do? But I had to, like, stop for a minute and be like, Leah, you don't have to have all the answers to move forward. You don't have to know all of that off rip. If it's not in you right in this moment, that don't mean don't do nothing. And I feel like that's been my struggle. It's like, well, if I don't have it yet, I'm just not gonna put nothing out because I don't know. The whole point of creativity is it's like a snowball effect. You put on one layer at a time. You roll the snowball, it gets bigger and bigger. But it ain't never gonna get bigger if you don't start somewhere. I'm not gonna ever figure out the next step if I don't take the step before that. I'm not gonna ever be able to move forward if I don't get up. If I'm on my butt, I'm gonna stay there. I have all these thoughts, I have all these ideas, I have all these visions, I have all these feelings and whatever inside of me, energy that I want to put out there, and I'm not putting it out there. That's my own fault. It ain't because I don't have a name for this. It ain't because I don't have a plan. It ain't because that didn't work out. It ain't because my car is messing up on me right now. None of that is the reason. It's in me. You feel me? So I wrote down like a few little notes in my journal because y'all know I love journaling. So I'm gonna read these few little notes that I wrote down for y'all, and I'm gonna end out the video. Always remember that you can't continue to let outside energy affect you. Anything that is outside of who you are as a human being, who you are as a spiritual being, anything outside of you, no matter how much you love it, no matter how much you're around it, you can't let the outside affect you but so much, because people and things and situations fluctuate every day, every second. So you have to stay grounded, and you have to stay still and stand still and strong in who you are, and let what's around you move how it's going to move, and you move how you're going to move without being affected by it completely. What's at the forefront of your mind will display in reality. What's at the forefront of my mind is going to display in my reality. If I'm constantly thinking negative thoughts, if I'm constantly thinking low vibrational thoughts, if I'm constantly thinking of the bad, if I'm constantly thinking in a low state, that's what my reality is going to continue to be. And another thing that I want to say to y'all and say to myself is that it's never a perfect time. It's what you make it. There's never going to be a perfect time for anything. It's only what you make it to be in that moment of wherever you are, because all we have is the present moment. All we have is now. So it's like, what do you do with that? Am I going to keep waiting till the next day, till tomorrow, till next week? That don't mean everything's going to magically happen today if you do make a move, but you could do something. You can start something. You can work on something. You can put your energy into something. Practicing mental strength and choices. A lot of things are mental, and then they show up in our reality. So when it comes to making those mental decisions, you have to practice. It's not going to happen in one sitting. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen, like, if you think positively for a few minutes, cool, but you might think negatively the next few hours. You know what I'm saying? That don't mean you can't never try again. You have to continuously practice and force yourself to think positively versus negatively. Mental strength is a different kind of strength than physical strength. You might not be able to physically see your mental state of mind, but it still will display in your reality. So you have to have some type of control over it. You have to have some type of practice to help yourself with what you're thinking and what you let consume your mind. And in reality, most of us, or all of us, are more powerful than what we think we are. You just have to believe it. When I say powerful, I don't mean it in a sense like, oh, I'm God, or I have all the answers, or I don't need no help, like I got this kind of thing. It's not like that, like, because none of us are God, obviously, but we're more powerful as far as what God has gave us, the tools that God has blessed us with, the tools that we were born with within ourselves, the voice that we have, the gifts the things that we've learned over the years, the things that we've picked up, the wisdom that we have, all of those things is what makes you powerful to an extent. It's what makes you who you are, and that's powerful within itself. It's not always about winning the race. It's not always about winning this game or winning this bet or getting this job or having this big house and, you know, having this nice car. It's not always about that. That's not what power is. Money, big nice things, greed, all of that. No, what is powerful is with what you have within yourself. It's just up to you to believe that, and it's up to you to water that. It's up to you to tend to that. Another thing that I've been working on is learning to be more present, learning to be more quiet, and learning to be more still, learning to sit in my feelings. Not in a bad way, but a lot of times I have a habit of running away from myself, running away from my feelings, running away from whatever it is that I'm dealing with. And I think we all have that problem. So instead of always trying to run away from it, instead of always trying to grab a drink to fix it, or smoke to fix it, or vent to this person to fix it, go out to fix it, sleep with this person to fix it, instead of always doing that, before you do that, take a second, sit with yourself, feel it, let it hurt for a little bit, let it, whatever type of emotion it is, even if it's a feel good moment, let it feel good. All the times that we do have bad moments and we sometimes feel like we have no choice but to sit there and take it, when you have those good moments, allow yourself to sit in it and let it feel good. Just like when you do have the bad moments, sit there and it sucks, but be like, I've had a bad moment before, so I'm going to sit here with myself, I'm going to let it happen, and I'm going to be okay. You feel me? Being quiet, you learn more. Being quiet, you're able to hear yourself more, you're able to hear God more, you're able to focus more, you're able to have more clarity, you're able to move differently, you're able to observe more, versus like if you're not allowing yourself to have no type of quiet time. If you always have noise going on, if you always have like distraction going on or chaos going on, it's going to be hard for you to focus. It's going to be hard for you to gain any type of clarity, because that's obviously distracting you. If things are constantly going on in your mind or around you, you have to try to find ways to have some type of quiet time so you can hear God and gain back that clarity that you feel like you probably haven't had, or that you don't have, because clarity only comes with sitting still. A lot of times, like throughout my day, you know, I might talk on the phone with someone, or I might pull up a YouTube video and let it play in the background while I'm cleaning or doing something, and of course I'm gonna play some music. But sometimes, like when I get home and I'm like about to take my shower at the end of the day, I'll be like, I'm cut on some music. But sometimes I'll be like, you know what, even if it's just 30 minutes while I take this little 20-30 minute shower, let me just do it in silence. Let me just have this second, like sometimes that's my silent moment. Let me just have this moment to just be, to hear myself clearly, to hear God, to not have anything like pouring into my mind. You know, sometimes it's healthy to take a break from things just constantly like flowing into your mind, whether that's music, podcasts, TV, people talking, you know, like it's okay to have some time to yourself. At the end of the day, when it comes to everything that I just talked about in this video, when it comes to next steps, when it comes to making plans for yourself, when it comes to goals, when it comes to relationships, love, friendships, starting a business, starting school, whatever it is that you are dealing with, have dealt with, or going to deal with, always understand that everything that happens to us and everything that we go through and everything that we're experiencing takes time. Anything we've been through, when we look back, as time went by, you know, things change. You look back sometime and you look at certain relationships, friendships, situations, or jobs, whatever, and you're like, Damn, I can't believe I was stressing about that at that one point in time. I can't believe that that was my life at one point. There was a time where you felt it wouldn't be okay before. There was a time where you felt you weren't going to be able to get past it, or you weren't going to be able to move on or get over it. And you did. And you're okay. You're alive. You're well. You have new experiences now. You have new people in your life, new things, new situations, whatever. In the moment, right now, it's hard to see that, because some things, you know, that are affecting us right now can be heavy, can be a lot. But it's like, don't just be so quick to, you know what, this ain't working out, so forget it. My podcast didn't work, so I'm not gonna do nothing else. That one song I put out didn't do how I wanted, so I ain't gonna do nothing else. Lately, I haven't been able to write like I wanted, so I haven't been able to journal, I haven't been able to paint, I haven't found any inspiration lately, so I'm just gonna stop. Give it some time. I promise you. You might not get it today, might not even be tomorrow, it might not even be next week, but there's going to be one day you wake up and be like, that one thing that I felt wasn't going to happen, it did. Regardless, time tells. Time showed it. Time, you know, did its thing. Time ran its course. Some things just take time. Some things are not a microwave result. Some things you're going to have to put in the oven for a few hours. Some things you're going to have to let sit and marinate for a little bit before you even get to cook it. There's going to be some things that have some extra ingredients, some extra steps to finish making. And a lot of those times, those things are even better. Those things that we have to take our time with end up being better than what we could have even imagined. Find the blessing in some things that don't just happen, because that might mean that that thing is bigger than what you probably can even think of. And you rushing it is going to not even allow it to be in the capacity that it's supposed to. You rushing it is you boxing what God has planned for you in. You trying to rush it, you're cutting off what's meant for you potentially. Flowing is always going to be better than forcing. Flowing is always going to be better than forcing. I much rather flow than force. I much rather let it than try to stop it. I much rather be than not be. I don't want to always feel like I have to take control over things. Some things you just have to let it be. Some things you just have to let it happen. You just have to do what you can and let it be what it's going to be. To end the video, I just want to say, you don't have to rush. You don't have to rush into a setup. You don't have to rush into a plan. You don't have to rush into a decision. Just flow. Just create. Even for those that feel like they're not creative or don't know how to create or don't have no type of creativity, you really do. You don't realize it. It don't always have to be painting. It's not always painting, journaling, writing music, you know, being an artist, whatever, what you think it is. And I listened to a YouTube video earlier about this. Literally, art is all around us. Creating is every day for everybody. When you get up and do your hair, that's creating. When you get up and put some clothes on, you put something together, that's creating. When you get up and go to work, yeah, you might be working for a company that you hate, whatever that you're doing, you're creating something. You're doing some type of form of creativity without even realizing it. Whatever it is that you like to do and that you love to do, that is your form of creativity. That is your way of expressing yourself. So whatever it is that you have in here and in here and in here, meaning your gut, your intuition, your instinct, your heart, your mind, your soul, that voice inside of you, that gift, don't let it go to waste. Don't wait for the perfect name. Don't wait for the perfect plan. Don't wait for the perfect time. Don't wait for the perfect environment and people. Just start, and those things are gonna come along the way. And when I'm saying that, I'm talking to myself, because I go months sometimes without expressing myself the way I want to. It's because I'm waiting on those little things, or I'm waiting on those big things and those big moments to just magically appear, when in reality the little things are going to lead to that. In reality, me getting up and just deciding to do a video even though I'm not where I want to be, or I haven't been doing the things that I'm supposed to be doing, that's going to lead to the next thing. That's going to give me some fuel to the next thing. And then whatever it is that I put out there, and whoever hears it, whoever sees it, whoever is affected by it positively, would have never had that if I didn't just do something, if I didn't just create. So I don't know who this is for, but well, it's for myself. First of all, I'm gonna just end the video right here, and I'm gonna try to hold myself accountable by saying that I'm going to be more consistent, more present, more intentional. I need it, the world needs it, and yeah.